This is perhaps one of the most important issues ever that we're going to talk about. Let me, if I could, help you deep dive and unpack and plumb the depths of one of the most important and critical issues there is. On February the 5th, yesterday, President Donald Trump did what leaders are often too timorous and implicit and scary, too timid, too frightened to do. Either ideologically or intellectually or politically, they're compromised, whatever the particular reason. He did what few have done or would do. He drew a clear, unwavering line in defense of reason, fairness, and truth. He signed the executive order titled Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports. How about that for clarity? Donald Trump reaffirmed the inviolability, the absolute fact, the biological reality, something that these lunatic lefties and these ideologues seek to obscure with, I don't know, some type of reference to Orwellian something or other. This decisive action on his part is not merely, my friends, an affirmation of women's sports and rational thought, but a critical and political and steadfast rebuke of the absurdities, these encroaching absurdities that threaten the foundations of civilization and common sense itself. I can't say this enough. At the heart, at the basis of his order, the gravamen, if you will, lies a very simple concept that modern gender radicals have forgotten or refuse to acknowledge, or more accurately, they've tried to erase. Biological sex is neither a social construct, it's not a matter of self-identification, it's not an opinion, it is a biological fact, an immutable, non-negotiable fact. And any attempt on anybody's part to defy it in the realm of athletics is not just crazy and nuts and folly and lunacy, but outright betrayal. Do you hear me? Betrayal of fairness and decency. By directing that educational institutions receiving federal funding, listen to me carefully, must align their athletic programs with biological distinctions, biological reality between males and females. President Trump has resurrected the original intent of Title IX of the Education Amendments Act of 1972. That's what this is about, which sought to protect women's sports, not dismantle them. What was that again? To protect women's sports. So let's be clear. Title IX was not intended to create some crazy loophole through which biological males, men, not trans women, men, biological men, masquerading under the guise and the fraud and this synthetic, I guess, this imposter status, this notion of gender identity. It is to prevent them from infiltrating women's competitions and reap the rewards, to win prizes, to steal from women through unfair physical advantages. That's what we're talking about. So sit back. I'm not even done with this. I'm not even close to this. This is one of the most important issues, and this is what this president said he would do, and he did do. And it's absolutely phenomenal. But before we begin, my friends, before we delve deeper into this, we've got a lot to dive into, this important and critical word. Listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. Now, I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even helped negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. The very fact that we're even talking about this blows my mind. The very fact that we're even discussing this blows my mind. But it's something that we have to discuss. And this is why hats off. Hats off to President Trump. Hats off. Let me reiterate, my friend. Let me just tell you again. Title IX was not intended to create some loophole through which biological males masquerading under some fiction of gender identity could infiltrate women's competitions, women's sports, and reap the benefits and the rewards and the titles of unfair physical and hormonal advantages. That's it. That's it. Period. And why people don't get this, I will never know. It was designed to ensure that women and girls who fought long and hard for equality in sports, many of you fine people and fine ladies yourself had enjoyed this, and maybe went to a university on a scholarship or enjoyed some type of benefit, and you want to have some guy with a 3-piece set show up and compete against you? What are you, nuts? It's crazy. It's crazy. You fought hard for this. This is to ensure that you would not be relegated to some second-class competition status by a man. By signing this executive order, Trump has restored the spirit, the rational thought, the clarity, the sense of Title IX to its rightful place, and has protected and shielded and guaranteed and looked after future generations of female athletes from the sickness, from the weirdness, from the indignity of competing against those folks whose biology gives them an unearned edge. And you know what I'm talking about. Not only that, to have to be in bathrooms and locker rooms, it's disgusting. And I'm going to use words like this. It's disgusting. It's gross. It's ridiculous. It's nuts. It's weird. It's perverted. Say it. We've forgotten this. The most critical provision of the order involves the directive to the Secretary of Education to withhold federal funds from institutions, this is important, that permit biological males to compete in female sports categories. This is beautiful. I mean, this is it. This measure is not punitive. Doesn't work like that. It's principled. It makes sense. It sends a message to universities and schools all over the place. Uphold fairness or face the consequences. You know, for too long, the academic world has catered and bent over backwards to these lunatics, these radical activists, at the expense of justice. And again, this thing called common sense. I can't say that enough. Now, under Trump's incredible leadership, the priority is where it belongs. And it's brutal. I love it. This is important on protecting the well-being of female athletes and also not placating and giving in and kowtowing to these radical left fringe freaks. That simple. But President Trump's vision does not just stop at our borders. his directive to the Secretary of State to advocate for policies within international athletic organizations, such as the IOC, the International Olympic Committee. This again shows you Trump's sincerity. It demonstrates a commitment to ensuring and guaranteeing that fairness and common sense prevail on the world stage. Don't you love this man? Am I missing something here? Are you missing something? Are we missing something? Does this make any sense? Why should American female athletes who sacrifice countless hours training for excellence, getting up at 3 and 4 in the morning to go for swim class and their whole lives, to have it robbed of victories and medals and glory and awards and money and scholarships by policies that disregard common sense and biological distinctions? Trump's order makes it absolutely clear that the United States finally will lead the charge in preserving competitive integrity, common sense, especially and even when international groups fail to do it. Caitlyn Jenner's behind it. Remember Billie Jean King? This is nonsense what they were. The very fact that this is, and by the way, do you see the picture of these little girls where he's signing it? It's just a little over 2 weeks. Equally important, my friend, equally important is the executive order's call, listen to this, for a review of, and this is the best, visa policies. Don't you see how all of this was lined up? They were ready for this. They didn't come up with this yesterday. This has been in the offing. This has been there. This is it. Whether it's Project 2025 or whatever the hell it is, it makes complete and total sense. But this is very, very important. Listen carefully. The executive order that he signed calls for a review of visa policies as to male athletes who want to compete in women's sports within the United States. This provision is both practical and protective, and it safeguards and guarantees against the potential exploitation of our sports systems. In a world where loopholes are exploited with ridiculous frequency and with people just becoming used to it, being acclimated to it, Trump's administration is ensuring absolutely that America remains a bastion of fairness. And I'm going to say this again, common sense. Now, predictably, as you knew, his critics have emerged wailing their tired accusations of bigotry and transphobia and exclusion, and nobody cares. Seriously, nobody is for this. Nobody of any rational thought in any way is suggesting that it will be a good idea to have men compete against women. Let me say this again. Do you know anyone who is for that? Anybody? Have you ever heard of this? Anyone? Cut Up Chatter says, please, President Trump, don't make me go into the game with my sister against him. Now her. She's going to pound me into the ground and it scares me. Oh my God. Raul Rodriguez says, Title IX must be loudly celebrated every year. Indeed, sir. And Pilgrim Media says Leah Thomas should have his NCAA title revoked. I believe, Pilgrim, there is a lawsuit of sorts that is being initiated or has been filed that seeks to do that in terms of, I think, University of Pennsylvania. So, yeah, that's being done. Absolutely. Again, this is common sense. And the folks, the usual folks, the radical left, the arguments, like their ideology, it doesn't hold water. It collapses under the weight of, what was that again? Common sense. What they fail or refuse to grasp or understand or choose to ignore, I don't know, is that when you allow biological males to dominate women's sports, it's in and of itself a form of exclusion. It excludes women from the victories they have rightfully earned. And again, why they want to do this, I have no earthly idea. Who's behind this? I have no earthly idea. It excludes, again, from them, think about this, the competitive integrity, the rules that Title IX guaranteed and promised. And it excludes from them the very dignity of being able to play in a situation and a recognition of this thing called fair play. There's no talk about equity. Equity. Inclusion. This is the D part. I'm not too sure about the diversity part. Different girls competing. President Trump's executive order, listen to me, is not an act of division or hate or whatever the hell these people are saying, but of protection, protecting women's rights and women's sports, and the protection of reason and common sense and rational thought and equity, a protection of a nation like us that has not, or should not, I should say, surrender to this insanity, this gender. I hope we'll never see this again. I hope this is the death knell of this. And in the tradition of leaders who stand firm, who stand for what's right when others capitulate, President Trump delivered a decisive blow against this lunacy, this ideology that threatens to undo the progress women have made. This is the most pro-woman thing I can think of, to acknowledge women and to acknowledge what makes a woman a woman. Being a woman is not a political party. It's not something you just say, I kind of feel like, no. You might feel like, I may feel like a kumquat. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't make me a kumquat. We know this. Again, this is common sense. This is a victory for women. For true, real women. And I don't know why lesbians are not arguing for this. This is for you. Your sexual predisposition is one thing, but your gender is another. This recognizes just essential common sense. So I'm telling you right now, if you believe in this thing called fairness, if you believe in this thing called inclusion, if you believe in I guess, intra-gender diversity, then you will stand with me and support President Trump. Now, I'm not crazy about everything he does. We'll talk about this insanity of Gaza. I don't know what they slipped in his drink. We'll get to that in a moment. But when it comes to this, I am absolutely elated. And as he's done time and time again, Trump has shown leadership. It's not about bending to the whims of whatever's happening, whatever's going on now. It's maintaining an integrity and a belief in something. And that's what it is. And let me also tell you something right now. When the president is right, we must stand up. Do you know, have you ever in your life ever met or heard of an actual, legitimate, real, true transgender? Have you? Not somebody who says this, not somebody who, look, have you ever heard of this? Where did they come from all of a sudden? I've heard of them. I've heard. But if you listen to this, you would think that the number and the frequency and the celerity and the accumulation of these people was so great that they were everywhere. You would think that there were so many of these people walking around and being and somehow saying, I must compete. I must. Don't you think, though, that if somebody were to say, listen, I may be a woman. I'm Leah Thomas. Okay, I may feel like a woman, but I am still 6'2" or whatever it is. I'm a swimmer, and this is not fair. Don't you think people would say, for example, I don't think it's fair for a professional, for example, to compete against amateurs. I don't think it's fair for somebody young to compete in senior Olympics. Doesn't this make sense to you? Doesn't it make you wonder, how in the name of God have we gone this far? How have we gone this far and maintained this lunacy? How has this, how can anybody, look, I don't care what you believe. If you want to believe in climate, that's one thing. Whatever this climate thing is, I still don't really know. But anyway, okay, fine. I'll give you your climate stuff. I'll give you that. I don't know anyone. I swear to God, I don't know anyone. I don't believe there's anybody anywhere who actually truly believes in this nonsense. Do you? Well, if this is, my friends, is something even better. Listen to what I'm saying. We are seeing something here which is so phenomenally great. We are seeing the end of this lunacy. You are not going to see these people anymore. Let me just explain this. And this is why it's critical. I told you a long time ago that the thing that I would push, if I were to promote, if anything, would be this notion of gender. This is by far the most insane thing that the radical left does. Everything else you can kind of say, well, climate, weather, okay, we can debate, is the average temperature getting, well, we can debate. Okay. Do you think maybe abortion, does a woman have the right? Does a woman have the right? It's funny, they don't talk about men getting abortion. So they're very selective in their appreciation for gender, but they say, does a woman have the right to an abortion? Okay, maybe she does. Is it her body? Okay, maybe it is. Her body, okay. So they recognize that there are these things called women. And women are afraid that they're going to lose their rights. And you hear this all the time. People say, I fear that I'm going to lose my rights under this Trump administration. I'm going to lose my rights as a woman. How many times have you heard that? And then when you ask them, what specifically are you talking about that involves you? What? What exactly? Precisely? Tell me. Well, I can't really answer that question. But still, they're told to say this. Okay. Well, here's something that really does the trick. If I can erase what it means to be a woman in sports, I can erase what it means to be a woman anywhere. Somebody said the other day that what we are doing right now in terms of gender and gender-affirming surgeries and the like is to destroy this notion of, and this is important, to destroy this notion and this critical aspect of consent. That's what this is about. It's not just going after this. It's the consent part. So what's happening, you would think that women, someplace, Eleanor Schmiel, remember that years ago, and other Patricia Ireland, and from Now, and remember these folks? You would think they would realize if we don't do something now, if we don't fix this thing now, somebody one day is going to say, we're going to take away your rights as mothers, as anything that distinguishes you as a woman, no matter what, because you looked the other way when it came to sports. Now, I don't know anything about how this affects things like beauty pageants. I think beauty pageants are the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. I think beauty pageants are absolutely diabolically horrible. But you should be able to consent to that if that's what you wanted to do. I think they're pretty much done. I'm not sure. I think they're done. I can't say for sure, but I think I have a good reason to believe that they're pretty much done. In any event, ladies and gentlemen, what I want people to understand is very simply this. What you're seeing right now is a transformational revolution, the likes of which I never thought even possible. And I can't say this enough. I'm seeing something and you're seeing something that is so mind-boggling. I never thought we'd ever see this again. God bless this man. Now, I don't know, we may not agree with everything. Again, I would be reluctant to say because I don't know. I don't think anybody's pushing for this. But what is being suggested in Gaza, I'm just saying parenthetically, is insanity. Is there anybody? I'm just curious. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Is there anybody here who says, "Good idea. Let's run Gaza. Let's make it a Mara Gaza, like a Mar-a-Lago, like a we'll put the beautiful. We'll put condos there. We'll build it back. We'll do roads. We'll have apartments, maybe a mall." Does anybody agree with this? Does anybody really honestly believe that the United States going into Palestine, to Gaza, and we're going to fix it after Israel destroyed it? And they're acting like, well, it's broken up and it's, are you kidding me? What? Is there, seriously, does anybody really seriously? Somebody writes about NFL cheerleaders. Here we go. NFL cheerleaders. You're right. They are, I've never understood the whole notion of cheerleaders, but you know what? It's harmless. I guess it's kind of an institution. Is there anybody who really, truly, honestly, why not? Why not what? What does that mean? Why not what, Joe? Just curious. Gaza will have to be rebuilt. By whom? We're going to rebuild it? Why are we rebuilding Gaza? What did we do with Gaza? Well, we sold the bombs or whatever. Why are we doing this? What does anybody, seriously? Look at this. Gaza, maybe to force all other states in the Middle East to start working on the solution. How is it going to force other states to work on the solution? What solution? This isn't their problem. Jordan said no. Egypt said no. Egypt says no. In fact, we don't have to work on anything because you've taken care of it. What do we have to work on? Thanks. We were going to do something, but now that you're going to rebuild it, you know what? Count us out. Does anybody really give this any thought? Seriously? Does anybody? How about let's rebuild the U.S.? How about places like Newark, New Jersey, which is beautiful, and Camden and other cities? What about East Palestine, North Carolina? What is he talking about? Did you see this picture about this thing where he gave him a little one of those pagers? Is that sick or what? If you had been on a plane and one of those pagers went off, can they guarantee that? And it brings down a plane? Or there's children around there? Or have we lost our mind? Judge Janine she is a dingbat. This way, she just wants to suck up to Trump. No, I don't think, seriously. I think Trump figures, this is the most ridiculous thing, but I gotta pay these people back. I gotta do something. Adelson, I know, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go along, and he talks about it like beautiful oceanfront property. The souls, this is their home. Do you know how many dead people are there? Does anybody have any idea of what we're talking about? Jordan and Saudi Arabia are already on board. On board with what? What does Jordan and Saudi Arabia have to do with anything? What do you think this is? Hey, Palestinian, forget it. Shut up. Gaza, you're nothing. Listen to the way we talk. Hey, everybody, okay? Jordan, you okay with this? Yeah. Egypt, you okay? Okay, let's do it. All right, let's move. Excuse me. Yeah, we're the Palestinians. Well, yeah, maybe not. I don't know, maybe. Do you hear this? We're developing Gaza. Developing? They destroyed it. What do you think? Do you think this was some kind of a natural disaster? Do you think this was like flooding or something? You know what? I violated my rule. I said today, I'm not going to do this. My people do not want to talk about this, and I don't blame you. You know what? That's the last time I bring it up. Because you proved to me one thing. Nobody gives a shit about this. I'm sorry. Maybe in other channels, maybe other people, but it's not just other channels. But I don't think Americans really care about this. I really don't. I don't think anybody cares. They figure like, well, those people, look, if they wanted to, it's Hamas. Don't blame me. Hamas did that. That's not us. We didn't do anything. Israel didn't do anything. That was all Hamas. What? Pilgrim says Israel is carrying out total war, World War II style. But nobody cares, Pilgrim. Nobody cares. I'm not going to say anything anymore. I promise you, it's not, and I'm not trying to point fingers. I'm not, because every show, every group, sometimes there's some people don't want to talk about the Super Bowl or whatever. But this is a different story. This is something which is completely different. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something which is more, I think, easier to comprehend. When it comes to comfort, support, and a good night's sleep, my friends, MyPillow has revolutionized the way millions of Americans rest their heads with unmatched quality, cutting-edge design, and a commitment to American-made excellence. MyPillow has become a household name. And now with MyPillow.com/Lionel, or using the promo code Lionel, you can unlock exclusive discounts and deals that bring comfort and savings right to your doorstep. That's right, my friend. Mike Lindell and the team in MyPillow aren't just selling pillows. They're on a mission to transform the sleep experience with a wide variety of products beyond their signature pillows. Whether you're looking for supportive adjustable pillows, luxurious Giza dream sheets, cozy towel, mattress toppers that cradle your body in comfort, MyPillow offers it all. And with their 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty, you can be confident that MyPillow stands behind every product they sell. Now, why MyPillow stands out? Let me tell you, unlike generic pillows you grab off a department store shelf, MyPillow is customizable and engineered to cater to different sleep styles. Whether you're a side sleeper or a back sleeper or a stomach sleeper, their patented interlocking fill technology adjusts to your specific comfort needs, keeping your neck and spine properly aligned throughout the night. No more waking up with that sore neck, no more tossing and turning, just the restful, rejuvenating, and exhilarating sleep that you deserve. And it doesn't stop at pillows. MyPillow's Giza Dream Sheets, made from the finest Egyptian cotton, offer a smooth, breathable, and luxurious feel, turning your bed into a sleep heaven. So right now, my friends, do the right thing. Go to MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel. It's easy for me to say. MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel, or call 800-645-4965. Simply the best. Trust me. Check. I find it's so fascinating to me, so interesting how I was looking today and I was thinking about this. There are some people who focus 100% on the Middle East. Judge Napolitano, who I think is terrific, and others as well. And then again, they don't see anything else. It's all they care about. And that's important, but there are shows just on the Middle East. There are other shows just on, and I'm not talking about sports shows, but everybody's got their own kind of focus on this thing. And I'm interested more in things that matter across the board, not just in one particular area versus others. Fred Pound says, got here late. I didn't miss you talking about USA, did I? Is it as great as I think? The destruction of it is. Lionel, you remind me of the Roma wine commercials. I don't know why. Be nice to know, well, why? Thank you. I don't know why. But in any event, thank you. I guess thank you. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. USAID is, and this is the worst part about this, well, the easiest part. This was a way that we funded wars and officious intermeddling. But nobody cares about that. Try talking about USAID. Good luck. They'll talk about, and there's a problem, and they gave condoms to Gaza. Ooh, that's a good one, but it's a bigger issue. It's a bigger issue. It's the notion of where are we? Why are we involving ourselves in? I was listening this morning very, very early to an old, not old, but it was kind of these crossfire. It was Thomas Sowell was talking about foreign intervention. And one of the things that I think we have to figure out, you and I have to figure out, is we have to find out, let me ask you, do you have a core belief system as to what makes up your political ideology, whether it's conservatism or republicanism or whatever you want to do? Do you have that? I mean, there's men should not be involved in women's men. Hang on a minute. There we go. Let me see. Hang on. There we go. Men should not be involved in. Make sure my audio is okay. Hang on a minute. There we go. Men should not be involved in women's sports. Okay, those are obvious. Okay, that's obvious. That's kind of a okay. That's sort of it. But beyond that, what is it? Because this is one of those things where I'm glad that he's doing this. It's common sense. And I'm glad we're putting this to bed. I'm glad we're getting rid of DEI because DEI makes a lot of sense to get rid of as well. But there are other aspects as well. And there's something which I want to understand. And when it comes to foreign affairs, foreign involvement, NATO, UN, World Health Organization, Davos, G7s, all this kind of these NGOs. Where do we fit with that? I know we just started, but what is your position? What is it? What is your bottom line? Do you think anybody understood what USAID meant? No. Someone writes libertarian. What does that mean? What does libertarian mean? What does libertarian mean? What does that mean? Renee Richards and Christine Jorgensen to this. Yes, those are classic. Thank you, Pilgrim. What does it mean, libertarian? What is it? I'm just curious. Libertarian is one of these things where, with all due respect, when you don't know what to say and you have a vague construct as to rights and freedom, say you're a libertarian. It means nothing. Nothing. People don't understand what USAID is. They don't understand what the UN is. They don't understand. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to explain this to them, dear friends. And that's why I want you to make it a point to tell them. Let me also make sure that you understand February the 22nd is around the corner. Are you going to be there? Are we going to see? Are we going to party like it's 1999? Cutting room, my friends. That's where we're going to do it. Cutting room. Make sure you're there. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. I got one coming up about Title IX just as soon as we're done with this. Make sure you do it. Make sure you subscribe to Lionel Nation, Lionel Legal, and Mrs. L's Lynn's Warriors as well. All right, my friends. Just a great and a wonderful day. It was snowing like a mother. Still is, I think. It's a very cold and kind of a snuggle type of stay inside day. Somebody be doing a lot of writing, a lot of stuff. Be on the lookout. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Remember, make sure you subscribe to Lionel Nation and tell your friends. Spread the word. And until then, my friends, remember these words. This final valedictory. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.